Hi, folks. This is MazeBoy91 alongside Callsign Suitcase and Menakai. The Maximum Mouthage podcast is going. We got an interesting show for you guys tonight.
Do we?
I think it's interesting.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Cool story, bro.
But tonight we're going to talk about what?
Can I go home now?
No.
No, you're contractually obligated for the next hour and a half. I bought you pizza.
You're right. That was enough. Okay. All right.
So, tonight we're going to talk about characters that we like in movies and shows and also cartoons. I wanted to kind of keep it more towards realistic shows, not cartoons, because I think that would be a whole separate list, but you can put cartoons.
We'll sprinkle them in there. Cause
yeah, you can put them in there if you want.
I might aim more towards anime than like cartoons or something.
Yeah, that's fine. Because you can have just equally as great characters in animation as you can in the real shows, too.
Yeah.
So, I'll start. Now, I'm surprised I was able to watch this movie when I was younger, like 3, 4, 5 years old. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Fair enough.
With Jim Carrey. Dude, I tell you what. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, and I could still watch it through to this day. I can watch it as many times as I want. I still love that movie.
I've only ever seen bits and pieces. I've never actually sat and watched the whole thing.
We need to sit down and actually watch it because it is a great movie, and it was the first time I saw somebody, a guy dressing up as a girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Isn't that the movie where he puts on the tutu and he's like...
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All I really know from Ace Ventura that gets stuck in my head is the comedy bit where he gets the spear in the knee and he goes, ah!
That's when nature calls.
Yeah.
And then
It's not in that one. It's in the second
That's
one.
when
The
nature
second
calls.
one. I gotta watch those.
But with this one, Jim Carrey was just really funny. Jim Carrey actually mimicked the movements of parrots.
Huh.
Because how he walks is like kind of like his head bobs back and forth kind of thing. And he's such a cocky asshole, but he's hilarious because when people are dicks to him, he gives it back to him
like it's nothing.
like 10 times worse. And it is hilarious. There's so many quotable moments in that movie that it's awesome. It's like they're ingrained into my skull. And
I mean, Jim Carrey in general is just a masterpiece. Like, say what you want of him. Say, if you don't like him, if you disagree with what he believes in, agree with what he believes in, I really think he's just a master actor. I mean, like, have you seen like how he can work his face and work all of his movements? The guy's a master of his craft. Actually,
speaking of the face movements and stuff, I might as well go into my next one with our version of the Grinch.
Yeah.
The live action
That
one.
was
Yeah, the live action
literally
version.
number one on my list.
I really
ironic.
think like the animated version of the Grinch is just classic. Like
classic.
it's something that's never gonna be bad. But when they went live action, at first you think, oh, they're going to take a beloved children's story or something and make it live action. It's going to be god-awful. I mean, like, look at Lion King, look at other things. But they made live action Grinch, and the second it was Jim Carrey,
Sold.
it was sold. And then
Sold.
just the performance of the movie in general was just, I think it's one of the best Christmas movies to ever exist.
Seriously.
I could watch it off season and still enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite scene from Jim Carrey's The Grinch is he's riding the little car through town and he crashes into the fire hydrant and it like sparks up on fire, and it's the slow motion running scene of him running. He's just blows up.
Yep. Dude, you know what's insane?
What?
He had to go through 3 hours to get that costume on.
Wasn't it even longer because of the makeup? Wasn't it like 5-6 hours
Oh, it
worth
was
of
longer.
makeup?
Was it
and costumes?
longer than that?
Every single day, and they had to take it right back off.
Didn't they give him like some sort of CIA training to kind of just zone it out because it was almost like a form of torture.
Yep.
You can't move there.
And that is insane because he didn't have to do that. It'd be like, if you had to go through that crap, it'd be like, screw that. But it's Jim Carrey, and he went through that crap for us.
It's going to pick up, too.
True.
You named
and
it.
You're nasty.
Also the fact that, like you just mentioned, they didn't have to animate his face. Like, he showed that grin, that evil,
You know what's
evil grin that he did for the
about
Grinch
it though? It's
without-
like with how much makeup and shit layered on him that he was still able to manage to like contort his face and like work those. Like, it's crazy.
We talk about Johnny Depp being a transformer with the characters he plays. He goes from
Johnny,
Jack Sparrow to Mad Hatter to Tonto.
Can I say Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory really wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
But it was really crazy to think, like, when you think Johnny Depp, the first thing you think of is
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
So you think of, like, oh, yes,
Or
mate, and stuff like
arguably
that.
the Mad Hatter.
But then, yes, Mad Hatter.
Or
the
Edward
Mad Hatter's
Scissorhands.
a good example of what I'm trying to say here, is that you look at Johnny Depp and you think Captain Jack Sparrow, but then you don't innately think of, like, Willy Wonka. So, like, the transformation he made to be Willy Wonka was so crazy
We
different.
talk about he's a transformer, but literally Jim Carrey has a face made of rubber
Yeah.
in the best way possible.
Dude,
Yep.
I know we're talking about movies and things, but because you're talking about that, I got to bring this guy up. This YouTuber named Russian Badger. If you've never seen him in person, he basically can do like Jim Carrey-esque. I'll show you pictures when we're done with the podcast.
Does he actually look like him too?
He kind of does.
Like he purposely tries to dress up and
look him up.
I'm on it.
People have actually been like begging superhero. I don't know. You guys would know this. What part is it? DC that Rubberman is? Rubberman's in DC.
Medicaid, you would know
or
more
Plastic
than that.
Man.
I think that's DC because I know
Is it DC?
I know the.
Oh, that's the one with Superman, Injustice, and Plastic Man calls him a despot or whatever.
I know that Marvel's version of Rubberman is Mr. Fantastic, so it's probably DC.
But people have been actually like trying to vie the DC universe to being like, we need a live action Plastic Man movie, and we want the Russian Badger to be Plastic.
Him.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. You want to show
I
him?
do.
You want to show him?
I don't know if you can see from all the way over there.
Which image did you use?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've
That
seen
one.
him before.
Okay,
But
yeah.
there was an image of him like in the Plastic Man outfit, going like, and his face is all contorted, and it's like, I would love to see that man get into movies or.
That'd be awesome.
This is a whole rant for other podcast, but DC just needs to make up their mind
What do you mean? in
general.
Okay.
Do you not know what DC's doing right now?
No, I'm not a big
Every
superhero guy.
single person, minus like 3, are getting recast again. Superman's been recast. Wonder Woman's going to be recast. Aquaman has now been transferred to Lobo. Batman's being recast. The only ones that
Yeah,
are
but
staying.
Batman gets recast like every movie.
Yeah, but now he's not
Nowadays.
part of the verse. And now they're redoing it again. But they're keeping Waller from Suicide Squad, which is the head black chick. Peacemaker staying, and
Peacemaker.
Blue Beetle and one girl from the actual movie is also staying.
Interesting.
Everybody else is getting recast again. Penguin, Joker, Harley.
I mean, to be fair, Jared Leto's Joker is. We don't really talk.
We don't talk
we don't
about
really
Jared
talk
Leto's
about
Joker.
Jared Leto's Joker. It's just.
It was fine for what it was needed for, but I don't need that consistently.
I love how we instantly went off track. It's incredible. We're really good at doing.
I mean, we're
this.
still going
Yeah.
on movies and all that.
Well,
but
that's
whatever.
true. I mean, like at the end of the day, we're talking about like we talked about this with cartoons. Really, at the end of the day, there's 2 Jokers that stick out, and it's Mark Hamill's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker. You know, rest in peace. Like Heath Ledger's Joker is just
Now, I'm
That's
gonna raise this question.
hit me.
We know good and well Kevin Conroy is Batman. Period.
Yeah,
Who's the live action Batman?
that's a hard one. I haven't seen all of the live action.
So you've got George Clooney, you've got Michael Keaton,
technically Adam West.
Kristen Bale, Adam West.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee.
I think Adam West is
technically Robert Pattinson because he's in the other one, the most recent one.
You look like you have a really good opinion about this. Hit us.
I didn't hate the movie. I like the aspect of it's not now. Oh, Batman did research for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to go kick the crap out of the villain in his face for 25 hours.
Yeah.
But the problem was, a lot of it was just 3 hours of nothing.
Really? That's unfortunate.
But detective work of trying to stop the Riddler, because Riddler was the main guy.
Oh, it was a Riddler movie? Okay.
It wasn't bad, but it was just too much detective work, and there was one chase scene with Cobblepot, and that was it.
Huh.
And for some reason, the Wayne Manor is now in Wayne Tower. So they put the two into one. I don't know why.
Interesting.
But then we get like a 10-minute scene of Bruce, a.k.a. Robert Pattinson, a.k.a. Edward from Twilight, going through a schematic or like a plan or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got his shirt off.
I mean, like, that's just thirst trap.
Yeah, like we don't need to say it for 10 minutes. That's like the 25-minute sex scene in Watchmen. That didn't need to happen.
Wait,
Yeah.
That happened?
That was a thing? I thought it was a meme.
No, it was a thing.
No, it's an actual thing.
But yeah, it's...
You know
I
how
gotta watch
awkward that is?
Watchmen later.
You know how awkward that is watching that with your parents?
Just make eye contact. That shows dominance.
Yeah.
I got him.
Not when...
You were questioning it first. He laughed instantly.
Not when your mother's like, yeah, he's screwing there with his big superhero penis. Like, oh, Mom.
I can see your mother saying that too.
Yeah. The worst part is I can too, and I just, it's so fucking funny.
But
anyways,
childhood trauma right there, boys. You could hear it in his voice.
Which is probably the reason why I don't like watching those kind of scenes just in general.
I'm going to be honest. Watchmen was 3 hours. I wish I could get back. The ending was all right, but then the rest of it, I'm like, I don't care.
I really wanted to like it, but it's just,
I wanted to like Batman. That's 3 hours I wish they would change.
I know.
Now
I really did.
And, it got to the point where it was getting so late and it was so slow, I'm like falling asleep.
Yeah.
So
because there was a lot of slow parts.
Was the Easter egg at the end of the whole trailer. Because then he started talking to Joker in the cell. And if you've seen Eternals, you know who Joker is. He's the druid guy from Eternals.
Nope. You have to remember, I'm not a superhero guy.
Yeah.
So I don't look at things.
We're about as I said, at the end of this podcast, we're going to turn you on to a whole bunch of shows and movies, buddy.
So, sticking to like the superheroes, DC and Marvel, things like that, I don't care what anyone says. Our generation of Iron Man,
Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly.
I mean,
I can't picture anybody else in that role but him.
He actually had an interview recently talking about if he could play Iron Man again. And he said Tony Stark is as close to his real character as you can get. Yeah. Iron Man is in his DNA now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, absolutely. Iron Man changed his life.
Well, yeah.
That and the fact
wasn't he literally just like a super addicted druggie before it all happened? And
like
then
his career,
literally turned his life
down
around.
The toilet. Yep. And then he had ironically enough, he had a hamburger from McDonald's so bad, he's like, screw this. And then his next big role was Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Iron Man 1 kickstarted the MCU before anything else.
Yep.
We don't talk about the MCU right now, but back then, 2008 and up to like
even just
probably
like first Avengers,
no, probably Infinity War. Then it was all right a little bit after.
I would agree with Infinity War.
Endgame was just it was great. The portal scene phenomenal. The whole fight phenomenal.
Endgame was great,
but the lead up to it, I was like, this is 2.5 hours. You could have been done by now. Go punch Thanos in the face.
Yeah.
But then the portal scene happened. I'm like, yes.
This was worth
it.
Yeah, once the portal scene came up, it's like, bro, this shit's going down.
I won't.
And then...
I won't lie. I'm not super big on superhero movies. I like Iron Man. I like a few of the other ones. But when the end of Endgame came, I legitimately did cry.
I am not ashamed to say that I cried in front of Maze right here. For Endgame. And he's not ashamed to say he cried in front of me.
We're all bros. We can cry in front of each other.
Exactly.
I don't get like that. It wasn't more so the fact he was dying. You knew that was going to happen the second he snapped his fingers.
Yeah.
It wasn't Pepper. It was Peter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter is the one who broke me.
Well,
Yep.
the big thing at the end of the day.
You want to know the kicker?
What?
Tom Holland did not know they were filming a funeral scene. Because he spoils movies
he spoils
so much.
I knew about that.
All they said, buy a tuxedo. He thinks it's going to be like a wedding or a party. He had no idea it was a funeral scene until it's like, oh my God.
They only
dead.
give him enough of the script to do what he's doing at the current time because they know that he's not very tight-lipped.
Random thought, you know I don't know if you've probably seen Spider-Man just lounging in his yellow jacket on one of the movie posters. I don't remember if it was No Way Home or Far From Home or Homecoming. He's asleep.
Yeah, I know.
Legitimately. They
That's
took
hilarious.
a picture of him in full costume just asleep, and they're like, I'm going to use that.
Well, the crazy thing about it was I don't think I ever saw Civil War, or if I did, I forgot
Civil
about
War, like I've caught up to everything but Civil War.
But like the fight between Captain America and Iron Man was basically like you won't resort to doing anything to like save or whatever.
Cap was for the freedom to just be super and do what you want.
Yeah.
Iron Man was for you got to get registered by the government, super or not.
Yeah.
So you got the people on Cap's side, you got the people on Tony's side.
There was something somewhere where like Cap was like you wouldn't sacrifice or you wouldn't do this, and like he realized at the end of Endgame like he
did.
really would give up everything for all of us
And
because that's what he did. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen the deleted scene for Endgame? Like after his death, like they have like a small scene at the end of it where everybody start. It makes it a whole lot sadder if you haven't seen it.
I might have.
What happens is when Peter dies, or not Peter dies.
Peter died.
When Tony dies,
Wrong
the
hero.
light goes out. I can't remember who's the first one to do it, but everybody just starts like they get down on their knee. They like take a knee, and like I think Cap starts it. Like they're watching, and and everybody does it except for like one or two people. So it's kind of crazy. Like even Starkiller, like it's even crazy because you know how he is. He's like a cocky.
Starkiller.
It is Starkiller, right?
Starkiller's from Star Wars. You're thinking Star-Lord.
Okay, I'm fucking stupid.
Starkiller.
I knew who you meant.
But even
Starkiller is
I don't
from
know why did I
Star
think
Wars
Starkiller?
Force Unleashed.
Why did I think Starkiller?
I knew exactly.
But even
I'm like, hold on.
you
Let me see if he
know
catches it.
you know the characters, you know how they are personality wise. But even like Star-Lord and Raccoon get down on their knee and pay respects, and it's a very very like emotional scene afterwards because like you don't normally see it, and it's like everybody, even Strange, even
I think Strange had some amount of respect for everybody,
I think
unless you royally screwed up everything.
I think the only person who doesn't kneel for him is oh God, I can't remember her name. You're gonna have to say the green alien lady.
Gamora.
Thank you. Yeah, but to be fair,
She probably doesn't
she
really
didn't
know
know jack shit.
No,
which makes
that
sense.
Gamora was from the separate timeline, so she did not get to bond with any of them.
Yeah, so she didn't.
She was the
understand
one
yet.
that Peter Quill, Star-Lord, plucked from the other timeline.
Yeah,
So she didn't know nobody for nothing. The other one, she was in love with Peter. Whatever. She knew everybody. She tolerated Tony.
Yeah.
She tolerated this other one. She don't know nothing. She could care less.
You know, in that kind of scene, seeing that would be, like pierce your heart. It's like, oh man.
There's one. It
Well,
wasn't
really-
necessarily subtle, but there was one with Banner. Banner outright, blatantly told the entirety of the Avengers, I tried to shoot myself in the mouth, and the other guy spit the bullet out. Hulk spit the bullet out, so Banner literally can't off himself.
that's kind of crazy. Actually,
He's tried because he's so miserable at that point being Hulk. He wanted to end it, and Hulk spit the bullet out.
That's an
So
insane
it's-
thought when you think about
It's
it.
like Marvel goes. Marvel will go
yourself
to
preventing
places.
yourself from committing suicide.
You know, I've talked about this sort of thing before with people, and this is probably going to get deep here for a minute. But I've always talked about.
I already crossed the line.
because, well, we had a couple deep talks here a couple weeks ago about like family and things, And it's like, at the end of the day, I look at it as, like, I've had this conversation with a few friends. I've got a grandfather going through dementia, and I all sorts of stuff. And I've looked at it at the end of the day as, like, I don't want to do that. Like, I would rather die myself than go through that and, like, become a husk. Yeah. Something that I'm not. So, like, something like a scene like that makes me think of that. I'm glad you said that because I wouldn't have thought about it. Because it's like, I would rather die myself, or be Banner than live as something I'm not, the Hulk.
Oh, and then now they're bonded together. But at first it was, I don't remember the full context of it, but someone literally told him, you don't understand this, that, and the other. He's like, oh, yeah? You don't think I don't understand wanting to die? I put a gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. I've tried. The other guy spit it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Can I just say Fused Hulk goes crazy though? I love the Hulk with just Banner's face on it. It's so fucking funny.
Grr. I mean, grr. It's like, bro, be the Hulk.
Puny God.
I have to get off this planet.
All right. So, another guy I got here. Have you guys ever watched Married with Children?
No, but I know of him.
Really?
I think I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
So, Married with Children, I think it was in like the early 90s, late 80s, I think. It's an exaggerated. It's very exaggerated. The main character, Al, is the most popular character. He works a dead-end job. Mm-hmm. He doesn't think his wife is sexy. His wife constantly wants sex. It's a very crude, humored show.
If I might for a second, have you seen Modern Family? The older grandpa guy is Al Bundy.
Yes, he's the main character of the show.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Same guy. And just obviously back then.
And his son is a pervert all the time. His daughter is a ditzy blonde that has a different boyfriend in every scene.
Oh boy.
So
I mean, so is his wife, but she's a redhead.
Yeah. Yeah, which I don't know if like that's technically a wig, but I don't know if that's like canon in the show or not. But so everybody loves Al because
wake up.
He does.
He's out there for a second. I just like went cross-eyed. I went cross-eyed staring at the mic for a second. I was just like,
and then I look over. He's just.
I felt like that cat with the egg in front of it. Have you ever seen that image? The black cat with its eyes spaced out in front of the hard-boiled egg.
So Al isn't like the best character in the world, but
relatable.
He's relatable in a lot of ways because he works a dead end job that he hates, but he still continues to work there to support his family. He may not have a lot of money, but he still does it to support his family and the house and everything. And there's even fight scenes where he gets into fights with people. And
when are we getting a Married with Children fighting game?
I can see that.
Bro, it's just Al Bundy and all the characters of the day. That's it.
No, because his whole family has gotten into fights and they all like beat the crap out of people. It's hilarious. Even like the young son and the daughter and everything.
Like the scene where
fight.
Whenever Al gets into a fight, he always comes out on top. Like he's like roughed up, shirts ripped, black eye, but everyone's cheering for him. And there's also scenes where, well, there was one scene I can think of in particular. He scrounges up enough money, the whole family goes to the movie theater.
Yeah.
And his daughter sees that her boyfriend's making out with another girl.
Wait, I remember this scene too.
You do? Okay, so
yep.
She's like, you know what? I'm not going to get angry. You want to go date her? Go ahead. She sits down next to her father. She's like...
All she does is go, Dad, I'm on it, sweetie.
No. She does this. She sits down. Daddy, beat him up. He's like, of course, pumpkin. And he goes up, runs over to the kid. Bam, bam, boom, boom, boom. He's like looking around. Bam, bam, bam. And then he like walks away and the kid's like dead in the chair. Everybody's cheering him on. But that's the kind of stuff that...
And he goes back and sits down and she's like, thank you, Daddy.
Yeah. And it's like, it's those kind of things that all men can relate to.
I got another scene in mind for that with him and his daughter. It's the typical, I don't like your boyfriend kind of thing. But they're at the house. and he's chilling on the couch with his daughter. And
I know
he
what
walks
you
in
mean.
and goes, "Oh, who's this?" And turns out he's a blooming idiot. He's like, "Okay, let me show you the door." Whatever. It leads up to that. I can't remember specifics. And he's leading him to the door, and he misses the door, and purposely hits his head into the wall. He's like, "Oh, sorry. Yeah, door. Yeah, go ahead. Go out." It shows he cares because he knows his daughter. This ain't the right one for him.
So with that scene, it was a pizza delivery guy.
It was the pizza delivery guy. Yes,
So
he found the movie. Has he seen anything? Yep.
So the pizza delivery guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Pizza from Jake's or whatever. You owe me $7.50 plus tip." I was like, "Okay, I get you a tip." He puts his arm.
That's exactly the one I'm thinking of.
He puts his arm around the kid and like purposely slams his face into the door. Doors are hard. Opens the door and throws a kid out the house.
There's your tip.
But yeah, Al's just one of those characters that you love, and it's like I said, crude humor, show.
Relatable.
Yeah, and another relatable. I'm going to talk about another dad. Well,
go ahead.
dad/uncle, Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
Yes, I've not sat and watched like full episodes a lot, but I have seen a lot of
enough.
Fresh Prince clips.
Dude, I haven't seen every single episode. I've seen a bunch, but I've seen enough to where, look, I'm going to go on a limb here and say, let's see, it was James Avery. I had to get his name because I didn't know his actual name.
Yeah.
He is definitely one of the better dad/uncle actors in history, in my opinion.
No, he's one of the best dad characters in the history of TV.
Yeah, really.
And that's what I mean.
Because at the end of the show, that is his kid.
Yeah.
Will is his kid. That's not his uncle. That's not his nephew. That's his kid.
Yeah. Now, did you see the scene that I'm probably thinking of?
Is the one
Why didn't he want me, man?
Yeah.
Rumor is he wasn't acting.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. Rumor was it was not an ad, but it was really crazy because like even if it was like acting, holy
seriously,
fuck, is that good acting? Because the way he says it and the way he pulls him in, you almost really believe that it wasn't just acting.
Yep.
Because it really does fit in with like Will Smith. Why am I saying Will Smith? Is that right?
It's Will Smith.
Yeah, it's Will Smith.
I don't know why my brain just went to. But yeah, it really. I mean, I think that's in Will Smith's history is that his father left, and
and this episode, so that's why the rumor
just
is that
hit him a little
acting.
bit too close to home. And even if it just like manifested through his acting, it's still manifested, and you know the way he pulls him in seems a little too real compared to like
immediately.
He knew and pulled him in.
That's not character on character. That's James Avery hugging Will Smith.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though, too. With Will saying everything leading up to that point, Uncle Phil was being his rock.
Yep.
Not just in acting.
Yeah, exactly.
But in real life, too. Because, you know, it's those situations where the person's about to break down and you have to be strong for them.
Yeah.
And when the whole scene plays out, it's like, wow. And when I first saw that scene, kind of struck me too, because for years I didn't have a dad. From age 4.5, 5 years old to 9, I didn't have a father figure. You know? So.
Me too, in all technicality.
Yeah, technically, that's true too.
Yep.
So, not only can people relate to that, but it's just one of those scenes that, oh my gosh, like even the toughest of men, even the toughest of people.
If you don't feel something,
if you don't feel
need to
something
shed
for
a
that,
tear,
something's wrong with you.
But
Yeah.
if it don't tug your heartstrings, you ain't got no heart.
and especially when Will doesn't call him his dad, he calls him by his name,
Lou.
Yeah.
and
As you know, like, oh, there it goes.
yeah, it's like definitely one of the best scenes in my opinion for TV.
I just think it's phenomenal acting because it's just like the anger and the rage he just lets out that whole scene when he's like,
And then it just
like he's keeping his cool. Keeping his
And then
cool
it's-
is like nope, just lets it out.
And
well,
then
he
it
like
climbs
he like
up.
screams as he goes to leave, and then he just drops and just lets that line out. That line is heartbreaking.
it climbs up, hits its peak when
And
the
then
walks out
just-
the door, and then it just
Just why didn't he want me, man? And just
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. When I saw that scene, it's like, wow. I was crying.
Fun fact with James Avery, he also voiced Shredder in the old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon.
Yep.
Did you also see the pool scene?
I was about to say that, you fuck.
I love that scene.
I love that scene.
Yes.
Just like, we're playing for $100 a ball. Yep, you got yourself a game.
Jeffrey.
Break out, Lucille.
Break out, Lucille.
Oh, dude. Once that happened, like, oh, shit's going down.
Well, I like how he's super klutzy and he does a really good job of
boy.
acting like I'm bad at the game. And he's like, haha,
I'm getting better at it.
And then he's just dancing around the pool table.
just do.
Yeah.
High five.
And
Will.
then
best part-
and then at the end, just counting all the money to him.
He's like, you learn not to mess with this fucking kid because he's mine.
Another one where
Then they walk out and he's like, what?
Yeah.
They chase him out.
the other one when Carlton and Will got arrested, and then
That's another scene I was going to mention.
and then
That's a good one too, yeah.
because it's like the racial profiling cops, and he's like, "No, I'm their lawyer. You get them out of the cell, or I'm going to tie this place up with so much litigation. Your grandchildren are going to need lawyers."
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
like,
It's like,
Yes!
hell yes. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, very, very good actor.
I got another TV dad,
What do you got, brother?
kind of like Uncle Phil, Carl Winslow from Family Matters, especially with Steve Urkel.
So I have not seen enough of that show to really know much.
I've seen
so,
vague bits and pieces.
It started like they're young, mind you. Like Eddie's just starting like high school kind of thing, and then it goes up to the colleges and all that. Throughout, you know how Steve Urkel is. He's that pain in the butt neighbor you just want to get rid of.
Kind of nerdy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, did I do
And
that?
you know he was really supposed to be a one-off,
Yeah.
but then he got so popular, like more.
Well,
But
I
it-
love side characters. They get
There's
super
the
popular.
points, you know, like Carl. I hate this kid. I hate this. I'm gonna kill this kid. I hate this kid. And then there's points where he turns into Uncle Phil with him, like. You leave this kid alone. This ain't the cop and Carl Winslow talking. This is Carl Winslow, the father.
Yeah.
Like, there was a scene. It was the classic game. You draw the highest card, you win, kind of thing. And if Steve wins, Steve can hang out as much as he wants. If Carl wins, Steve's banned forever. Doesn't come around.
I think I may have seen that scene.
Steve pulled a 3. And he goes, "Oh, I got 3. Can't beat this big guy." All right, cool. You look at Carl's card. He has a 6. But Carl goes, deuce, you win. I'm like, okay. And Steve actually saved his life once.
Yeah.
Carl got electrocuted on a lamp that he was trying to fix. So, in all intents and purposes, Carl's dead. And Steve immediately CPR, all this, brings Carl back to life. But Carl was like, he legitimately banned Steve from the house. And he's like, "I want him to go away. Get out. Get out." And Carl's already having a little bit of some heart problems, a little bit. Then he grabs the lamp and it zaps him. Steve's the first one because he got Eddie's son there and then Eddie's best friend Waldo. Gotta love Waldo. But Steve's the
where's
first one to
Waldo?
do CPR, saved his life. So they both care.
Wow.
And there was one, it was college career day. Steve's parents don't care. They're scientists, they don't care. So nobody showed up for the college parents day.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve already told people, "Oh, my parents can't make it. My parents can't make it." Then a classmate stops and he's like, "Hey, Urkel, your father's here." And Steve's like, "What?" Because I think they went to college out of state. So they're not in, I believe, Chicago. And who walks through the door but Carl Winslow? And Steve just goes, "Big guy!" And just runs and like sloth hugs this man.
No.
And the episode ends. I'm like, I love Carl Winslow.
I love shows like that.
I love the characters that are like that, yeah.
They develop over time and going from hating each other and being polar opposites to actually liking each other and, you know, actually getting to be friends and caring about each other.
Or that aesthetic where it's like only I'm allowed to hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like, don't you fuck with him. It's my job to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
and at the same time, they also protect that person.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Which, ironically enough, I mean, do you want to say anything, Suitcase? Like any characters that we
were talking.
Listen,
you guys have been
you can delve into the anime. I don't care.
Well, the funny thing is I've just been enjoying spitballing off of you guys. I do have a few on my mind.
By all means, don't
you
let
guys
us
are
hog
talking
you.
about TV show dads. I can't remember what his name is, but the Goldbergs. Have you ever seen the Goldbergs? The father in that is.
I know the fact the wrestler Goldberg showed up in that. Ironically enough,
Yeah,
came out to be the gym teacher.
Because like the TV show is basically, it's hard to describe, but basically it's kind of biography-ish in a way. It's like your classic sitcom stuff, but a lot of the events that take place in the show are real events or semi-real events that happened in the history of an actual family, and they like allowed this show and basically like telling their life stories. And the father is that perfect mixture of like he works a dead end job. He's like, he gets home, he's lazy man, doesn't want to do a lot. Kind of an ass at times, but when it comes down to it, the guy's like there. Like, doesn't matter what happens, whether it's his wife or any of his 3 kids, he's just there. I can't think of any off the top of my head because I just kind of popped in my head when you were talking about TV dads. But if you ever get a chance to watch the Goldbergs, like you'll understand what I mean. It's a really good show.
Now the name sounds familiar, but what did the father look like? Was he a bigger dude?
Bigger dude, yeah.
Okay, I know. Okay,
and then the wife was like blonde, and the 3 kids. There was like the nerdy kid,
and
the
it was like
daughter.
the bigger, taller dude, right?
Bigger, taller dude. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna sound really stupid for a minute, but for some reason I'm picturing his face in my head, and it's making me think of the old live-action Flintstones movie.
John Goodman.
John Goodman. I think it might be John Goodman.
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
I just looked at the cats. It's not him.
Okay.
Patton Oswalt's in it.
But he kind of resembles him though.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know who you mean.
You know
okay.
what I'm talking about.
I
Yeah.
can't.
I know who you
I
mean.
just
now.
looked at him. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But
It's not him though.
I do remember seeing. Now I haven't seen like full episodes of the show.
Yeah.
But the one scene I remember watching, I guess like a niece or some kind of family member was crying because her boyfriend cheated on her, beat her up or something.
Yeah.
And the wife was sitting there trying to comfort her. He comes home. He's like, "What's going on?" And is like, "Well, her boyfriend beat her up." He's like, "I'll be right back." Gets his coat on, goes out, and basically beat the living crap out of her boyfriend.
Well, and that's the thing. I love. We were talking about like TV dads doing that sort of thing, and it's just like it's he's kind of the textbook character of it, where it's like he's kind of lazy and doesn't really want to do things, and just works a dead end job and just wants to be left alone in his chair. But like when it comes to it, like he's there. He's the family man at the end of the day.
Yep.
I got one for that one. We mentioned John Goodman. Dan from Roseanne.
That is John.
He's there's the exact scene like what you just mentioned was it was Roseanne's sister Jackie. Dan hates Jackie. Like they both hate each other.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, Jackie's boyfriend Fisher beat the crap out of her. Her back's hurting, all this. It's bruised, cut up, all of it. And Dan's like, "What's going on?" And Roseanne goes, "Fisher beat the crap out of her." And Dan's like, and Roseanne automatically knows, "Don't go do anything stupid. Don't. He's like, I'm gonna go in the garage and go get a beer." Typical Dan. He just don't want to be he wants to be left alone. The second Roseanne took Jackie upstairs, Dan grabbed his coat. And you knew what was going to happen then. He did go out to get beer, yes. But he also beat the snot out of Fisher for his sister-in-law.
Well, because at the end of the day, and it's for, unless
let's not knock that over.
Yeah, really, I would really not want to watch, May's boy die in the middle of a podcast.
I just saw that whole thing start moving.
I don't want to make the sponsored joke a life insurance ad instead of what we were planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have life insurance?
Let's exactly make it a funny one and not
$500,000 coverage today.
Random thought, but somebody we know paid for a burial plot, and it's $6,000.
Gross.
Yeah, just random thought because the conversation led into life insurance.
You know,
Yeah, it was $6,000.
You know, at the end of the day, I want to go out in two ways. I either want to be cremated, just simple, just put me in a vase or something.
At least make it pretty.
Or I want a Viking burial, dude. I know it sounds silly, and you probably could never do them in
Bro,
this day
you
and
better get a real good archer with a flaming arrow for that one.
But put me on a wood boat, put me on Chautauqua Lake, and just light that fucker on fire. I don't care if you have to.
You're on Chautauqua Lake for 20 minutes. It's like, why is this washing up on the other shore in Mayville?
just put up like a timed Molotov or something on it.
You see like a little girl fishing with her dad.
Mommy.
Like, Daddy, what's that thing?
Why is there an
Honey,
ear?
go to the car. And then you just see a body
Petunia,
on
get in the
fire.
car.
Then I pull an Arkham on them and
Okay. Getting back on track.
Back
though.
on topic.
We're talking about characters that hated each other and started liking
No, we're
each
not.
other after.
Well, technically, we're talking about movie, video game characters or TV show
general.
characters that we enjoy. But it kind of went to this topic, so that's cool.
Yes. So the next one that is on my list, Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God.
Dude.
Bazanglo.
Dude, first
I want
off,
you to go back in that corner and think about what you just said.
I know what I said. I'm
I
not
know.
afraid.
first off, I can't imagine the amount of lines that he had to memorize for that show.
Oh yeah, like it or hate it, like it's crazy how much they had to really think about that.
And Sheldon was one of those characters that, like, him and Penny in the show were polar opposites. And as the series went on,
Penny.
Yeah.
Penny.
Well, I
And finally she
I
goes-
love that there's
Sheldon.
Yeah.
I love how there's one episode where I need to
Hey! Turn your alarms off.
shut up. I love how there's one episode where like he gets to knock twice. And she opens the door and she looks at him for a second and just goes, "Oh, sorry." Shuts the door. Penny. Then she opens it again.
There was one where he did it, but Bernadette's there with Penny.
Yep.
So she goes, what would happen if I answer? I don't know. Find out. And she goes, come in. He goes, Bernadette. No, it wasn't Bernadette. It was the other one. But still, same thing. And he's like,
But after a while, they kind of get like a brother-sister
Yeah, really.
relationship, really. And, like, Sheldon never used to hug anybody. And when Penny gave him that napkin with Leonard Nimoy's DNA on it from wiping his mouth,
Yeah.
he actually hugged her, and he's, like, never hugged anybody before.
And she was like, "Oh my god, this is growth. This is progress."
And it's like, Sheldon's hugging me. And it's,
she's like, "Don't ruin this. Don't ruin this."
and, you know, not just Penny, though, but just in general.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. He became more not so well. I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. Not so robotic and like Sheldon, but more.
He grew as a
up.
character and actually gained a personality.
Yeah,
instead of
that's
just
a good
being,
way to put
there's
it.
a
you know,
perfect
he
scene.
started to learn that, like, hey, you know, life is about my friends, not just like my personal
Not just you.
preference. There's a scene that I'm thinking of off the top of my head that matches this, and I can't remember who's. I think it was Howard's father or something died. Or
Oh, it was his mother.
And
father and mother died, and,
yeah.
and Sheldon's like,
Can I say
I'd like to
something?
say something.
And everybody's like,
And
no.
everybody's like, no,
No.
don't right now. And he's
Yeah.
like,
Howard's like,
I have to say this. And he's like,
I was like, it's
He's
fine.
like, go ahead, Sheldon.
What?
they were like, nobody, like, your mother may not be here anymore, but we're here for you.
Yeah.
We're
It
your
was,
friends, and we're here for you, and we'll always be here for you. And it's like,
The whole thing with that, he said, like, when his mother died or father,
Nobody
His
was
father
there.
died.
nobody
for
was
him.
there. But
No, I didn't
you
have friends to
people
help
here
me.
for
yeah,
you.
we're
You do.
here for you.
And it's like that really hits home because it's
Huh.
like, wow.
Like,
that was a really
that
deep
came
thing.
from Sheldon of all people.
Well,
Yeah.
and then they're like, thanks, Sheldon. And it's like,
that was really nice.
and I think the real big catalyst for his change in general was when Amy really became a thing.
Yep.
When she really started getting into the picture more, you know, it really changed him.
He still had his moments like when he won the Nobel Prize. He
Yeah.
turned to it. Jack off again.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Love the show or hate the show. It's it's more complex than you think. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of stupid jokes that honestly don't hit a lot of the time. But
I enjoy
there's
the
a
show.
lot of that's the thing. There's a lot of growth for the characters.
Let me guess. You like Star Wars.
Bazonglo.
I've been in other movies. But you don't care about those, do you? Well, you want to know something? I tell everybody else that meets me. I like Star Wars too.
Or when he was in the ball pit, Bazinga goes to the ball pit.
Yeah.
Bazinga.
Or they're in the car with Adam West driving.
Wrong. Sulfuric acid.
Yeah. I enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
But you got one, Medic-Eye?
I got several.
He's got a lot.
I
You
narrowed
saw
it.
the list.
I narrowed it down some because I do have a list, but I got a lot.
That was bubbly.
So
It feels a little creepy.
they're not necessarily characters, but we can lump arguably these 4/3 into one. Arguably 3, but those other one is an honorable mention. Bob Ross,
Bob Ross.
Steve Irwin, and Mr. Rogers.
You're right.
The legends.
Trinity of goodness. And if you want to throw an honorable mention in just for the sake of like art, technically, in the terms of like Bob Ross, Pappy from Pappyland, because they all taught you how to be a good dude, good person.
Did you ever want to paint? Did you ever want
Fun
to
fact, he's still
Did
alive.
You ever want to recreate
Pappy.
everything
Huh.
at all? Da, da, da.
He
Dude.
he has a YouTube channel. He still does his stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're all character or not phenomenal people.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of another character off the top of my head who's got that wholesome vibe at the end of the day. And, he passed away a few years ago. Really rest in peace because this guy was goated. I don't know if you ever remember this when it became big for the meme songs. And that was Lazy Town.
Oh, God.
I know
him.
I'm bringing up a
Yes,
kid show,
him.
but Stephen Carl, may he be entertaining up in the heavens.
Entertained at pearly gates, but
I mean, a lot of Lazy Town songs became memes, but We Are Number One is. Are you actually tearing up?
behave
Are you
yourself
crying?
for now.
We
Behave
Are
yourself for now.
We Are Number One legitimately was a great song. Don't tell me it wasn't.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of that one.
Oh, what were you thinking of?
There was.
Are you thinking of Cooking by the Book or
There was-
We Are a Pirate?
I don't think it
No,
was the
there was
song.
one where, like, they reference Russia somehow, and he had this giant ice.
Oh,
cream,
the ice cream cone.
and he was like, "Freedom! Oh no, 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 no!" And you see the Russian flag in the back.
And he's just like, and then the guy's just like,
Yeah,
but the crazy thing is like he got diagnosed with cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's what he died from. He died from, it was a terminal cancer. But like with just a few months left to live, he got the entire crew together that did the We Are Number One. He got the other versions of himself, and they did I saw it live. It was wonderful. He did a Facebook Live thing. I think he did on YouTube too, where basically they got the crew together and they sang the song live.
That's
And they were doing donations. They were taking donations, and it was going to help. If I remember right, it was going to help children, like sick children, because obviously he was like, I'm already dying. There's nothing that's gonna fix me at this point. I've got terminal like stage 4 cancer. I can't remember what type it was, but like he used the power of the internet, and it's gonna sound cringy saying this, but he used the power of the internet and the power of memes to raise a ton of money for I think it was cancer research or for something for sick children, and it was because of just a honestly shitty little kid show with puppets.
Yeah.
But he played a villain, but the man really had the biggest heart.
And you know what's insane about that? It's like, dude, I'm dying of cancer. I don't give a shit about anything. He didn't have to do that.
No, he could have just sat with his family and done fuck all, but like he's like, I want to still be a positive influence on the world.
Yep.
In my last days,
I got another
And the
one
day
for that
he
one.
the day he died, like it was everywhere. The day he died, the internet went ape shit. And it was like I remember seeing this stuff the day he died, and it was heartbreaking. Like I cried the day that he died. It was like that was a good man, legitimately a good man who did nothing but want to entertain people and bring smiles to your faces.
I got one for that to tie in with the Last Days. Black Panther.
Yeah, it's really hard to think about that because
Nobody
he never
knew.
Exactly. Nobody knew what he had, and
then
he fought on regardless.
He was with the children in the hospital. He was playing the Black Panther movies. He was doing the Marvel stuff. He knew he was dying. Till that last bit, you could just see him slowly start to almost fade a little bit in some of the
and just
media.
like I said with...
But then there he is in the hospital.
I'm really
with the
glad,
kids.
though, that he managed to get through and do Endgame and everything because, like...
Like
it's really the perfect way
to hurt.
Yeah, it's really, he got to go out with a bang.
He went out as
career.
a hero.
Exactly.
And like I said with Robert, that's our generation of Black Panther. I can't picture anyone else but him as Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm glad they didn't recast him because they purposely didn't want to do that for Wakanda Forever.
Well, they wanted to respect the fact that this was what people saw Black Panther as. Yep. So we're going to respect his memory.
MCU. That's it.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Chris Hemsworth is Thor.
Yep.
We can make the slight argument for Spider-Man, but in this point, right now, for what Stan Lee wanted for Spider-Man, Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Period.
God, rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Yeah, that hurt.
Seriously.
But
you know what one's really going to hurt when it happens? And you guys are hopefully going to agree with me? Morgan Freeman. You got to think about that. That man's getting up there. I mean, unless he really is some sort of transcended being and is just going to live forever. But, like, I mean, dear God, if I hear Morgan Freeman in 30 years just come out of nowhere and just go, I can smell you, I would be like, oh, God, Freeman's here for me at last.
Going back to Mr. Rogers, though, and I had perfect space for that, too. There was one incident, I should say, where I guess there was a blind girl that would listen to Mr. Rogers' show.
Yeah.
And she wrote him a letter saying, hey, I want to check and see if you're feeding the fish that you have. Because I'm just concerned about the fish getting fed.
Yeah.
And ever since that point on, he physically says, I'm feeding the fish. Specifically for that little girl so she could hear that. It's like, what an awesome dude.
Another fun fact with that, this wasn't the first time, but it was the first time in a good while. Mr. Rogers was the first person since this ban was lifted to entertain and bring a black man to the same pool as him.
Yep.
Even if it was just a kiddie pool and they're just chilling with their feet in the pool. He's the first one to do it.
He broke that barrier.
Yep.
I really think we need that show back in this time and era because it's like, I don't know. We've lost a lot of those values as a society.
Here's the thing, though.
We're trash.
If we did try to do a show like that, it would probably be buried by idiots. Yep. Because they'd be like, oh, it's not inclusive. You have to include this, 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 and this. And it would probably be trashed.
Here's a off-topic question, but also a topic question. Who would host the show? Who would be that Mr. Rogers in this day and age? Because a lot of people I'm thinking are dead.
I heard that.
Nasty.
I mean, it's hard to decide who would be that in this day and age.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones I can think of are dead.
Yeah.
The only ideal one I could think of, honestly, would have been Betty White. God rest her soul.
Dear Lord.
Dude, she was such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
But she, and she was really witty, too.
Even towards her last days, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She could still spitball comebacks and be really charming.
I don't know. It's really hard to try to pick somebody who would embody those values nowadays. It's, I mean, not saying that any actors out there couldn't, or most modern actors aren't, upstanding citizens or upstanding whatever. Go ahead.
Keanu Reeves. You clean him up a little bit. There you go.
You know,
Like you don't I don't think the
can
shaggy
see
hair.
that.
All respect to him would fit with that, but Keanu Reeves.
John Wick, the G.
But we also know he could play a dick because you got John Wick and you've got the villain in Cyberpunk.
yeah.
He can play the douche.
John Wick or
Well,
he wasn't really
not
the
necessarily the
villain.
bad guy, but he can play the I'm gonna rip your throat out kind of character. But we also know he's a
Well,
sweetheart.
yeah, Johnny Silverhand wasn't really the villain.
Still a douche.
Well, yeah, still a douche, but that was like a whole part of his character. He was a rebel.
That first rant, I'm like, this is Keanu Reeves? Really?
That's
I wasn't ready.
just another good actor. But like, yeah, I can see what you're talking about. I would love to see like a
Modern day Mr. Rogers.
modern day Mr. Rogers with Keanu Reeves. That's a really good pick.
I could see it. Definitely.
I got a character that everybody, when they first saw it, hated, but now adore.
Hit me.
To go back on movie things. Anakin Skywalker. You think about it. He never, afterwards, Hayden Christensen never went to any of these Star Wars conventions or did any media
Yeah.
after his 3 Star Wars movies because of the hate he got.
Yeah.
They finally invited him to the one when he started doing the Kenobi show and doing everything with Star Wars again. This dude got a 10-minute standing ovation. They love him now. And it's like, he's finally getting the love he deserves. But the problem was, that demographic, which arguably could have included us, if you saw Star Wars when it first came out for the first 3. Not Luke Skywalker first, but like the first 3 in
The prequels.
You're almost at that demographic, but you're also in the era where that ticks you off. Where you're just an angsty teen. You're just going against everything that any law enforcement says. It's fine when you do it. We see somebody else do it. It's like, bro, I hate you. And then, arguably it's because of the memes. Arguably it's because of like people deep diving into the research of the movies.
Yeah.
And it's because of the Clone Wars cartoon. They gave Anakin the depth he needed
Exactly. Yeah.
from that cartoon to where it's not just, 3 movies worth of this, and now suddenly it's 2.5 movies, then suddenly, boom, Vader. They gave him the depth in Clone Wars that he needed. People are like, you know what? We were wrong.
Yeah.
And now Hayden's getting the love he deserves.
Well,
Because he was in Kenobi. He's in Ahsoka. Also, Ahsoka is one of the greatest characters in the history of Star Wars.
To be fair, like the prequels got shit on for the longest time, and then people just really started to end up enjoying them, especially because
Because the Disney
The-
movies
the
are
Disney-
absolute hot garbage.
the Disney trio. I would say Last Jedi wasn't awful, but like that was.
That was the stool.
I thought that was just the blatantest, squeakiest fart I've ever heard in my entire life. While you were just looking there, innocent as shit.
No, Last
I
Jedi.
smelled that spray too.
I smelled that.
Last Jedi was not bad. And then
Oh God!
Medicaid spray
Bastard.
X, and I'm just now getting the whiff of it.
see, I was
God,
gonna,
I'm thinking about the
Smells-
high school locker room.
See, I
all
was
over
gonna-
Exactly what I
again.
think.
I was
of.
gonna do that in the microphone for the ASMR with him doing the pop fist, see if you're going to notice it, but then you started that up.
What scent is that? God,
I have no
death.
idea. Honestly. It's supposed to be blue lavender, mint, and amber.
Like blue ass.
blue acid.
It's got a bird and a flower around the down the
so
thing.
pretty.
Oh, is that Essence?
Essence of my ass.
it's literally just Axe body spray.
Axe body spray. Well, that would be the type. You're like covering up the main logo. It would tell you that.
No, it's Axe.
Oh, it just says
That's all
blue
it is.
lavender. Okay.
This is blue lavender.
Yeah.
Well, I thought lavender was supposed to be purple.
Well, that was blue. I
What
didn't
the
make
fuck
the
is
thing.
wrong with our society
I
nowadays?
didn't make the thing.
fucking color.
No, but to be fair, Last
dumbass.
Jedi itself was not bad. Then they started killing everybody off, and now I don't
Yeah.
care. Though I did read a book that gave everything canon with Rey and her parents. Turns out her father is a clone of Palpatine.
Do it.
So, yeah. And, like,
Do it. Do it.
there is an
Do it.
entire...
Screw it.
Brew it.
No. Turns out there's an entire Sith planet hidden in the galaxy.
Oh, time for the next trio of movies.
But no, they won't do it because it was set like
cowards.
No, like Ray was like 6 years old when this book was set. So they're
we're
literally at the end of the book they dumped her off on Jakku at the left.
Prequels of the sequels. Prequel of the sequel. Be a funny name for the.
Yeah, that was episode 1, 2, and 3.
I got another one. I don't know if you guys ever seen this show, but this was a show I used to watch with my grandmother every week.
If you're about to say somebody from VeggieTales, I'm gonna leave.
VeggieTales is funny though. Monk.
I've heard of, and I remember like when I used to watch USA Network because Monday Night Raw was on.
Yep.
That was like the commercials for a lot of it was like Monk, White Collar, and all that. I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
The concept of the show is that he is an ex-police officer become private detective because he was basically disgraced from his position. And what happens is like the base canon of the story is that he's like a germaphobe. He's like super ADHD or autistic or something. I can't remember what they specified it as at the end of the day, but he's like OCD, all this stuff, like germaphobe. Everything has to be perfect.
I got a story for that later.
If he walks down the side of the street, he like reaches out and like touches the parking meters, like he's always touching things or needing like hand wipes to make sure he's clean. He's like a fucking genius, like high quality genius. Like he can look at something and he goes like this. He like kind of just like looks at things, and he just solves all these like really like weird murders. And there's nothing like overly supernatural or they're normal murder type things. It's not like you're like, ooh, this is supernatural in nature. It's like real crimes, real. But the whole story is that his wife was murdered, which basically caused him to get removed from the force. He just like lost his shit after his wife died. So there's an overarching story of him solving her murder while doing like every episode is a different case, or in some cases like every now and then a case will last 2 episodes, or it's like, like big season finales and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a show where like the character's really awkward. Tony Shalhoub is a fantastic actor. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he was the villain in Spy Kids. the minion, not like the bad guy, but he was like the bad guy's minion who actually turned out to be the real bad guy.
It's been so long since I watched the movie.
But
we don't talk about the new Spy Kids.
Yeah.
They are literal kindergartners.
Yikes. But so the whole story goes through. He ends up getting a few different assistants to help him. And a couple leave him. One of them stays through most of the series. And during this time, he also goes to a therapist who helps him through his problems and helps him deal with like the OCD and everything. And we've talked about like people passing away in the stories that we've talked about. And during the course of Monk, the actor who played the therapist actually died. And they actually did a whole arc with Monk going to a new therapist, and there was a whole arc with him learning how to accept, change and the death of his, because they were not only was he his therapist, he was like his friend. Mm-hmm. They were like really close. And so like he learns to accept like he needs to learn to move on and there's change in the world, and you can learn to attach to new people, and there's some really sweet moments, some really intense moments, and in the very end of the series he like solves his wife's murder. He almost gets buried alive. Well, he does get buried alive, but he gets out. And it's just like it's all sorts of like really interesting cases, and it's you have to think to figure out the cases, and very cool character. And at the end of the series, like he, if I remember right, he gets brought back into the force. He becomes a cop again. But like, he solves his wife's murder at the very end, and it's just like, you know what, I'm at peace now. Like he's come to, he's still got his quirks and stuff to him, but he's like, I can I think I can live my life worry free. There's also an episode where he adopts a dog, and it's hilarious because at first he's like, I don't want you to touch me, don't want you to lick me, and then he puts an umbrella on the floor and he goes, you could sleep in that. And he's like watching over this dog for this woman who was murdered, and it was like a fox terrier or something. And it ends up with him actually like playing with the dog and like petting the dog occasionally, and he's very hesitant about it. It really goes to show like how some of those mental disabilities could be a thing, because like he doesn't want to interact with this dog because he doesn't want to get dirty. He doesn't know how to interact with an animal or stuff like this. He doesn't know what an animal really needs to function. And like at one point he like, I can't remember how it happens or what he does specifically, but I think he like sits down one of these at one point and he like just hesitantly reaches out and then he just gently pets the dog, and for some reason like he just calms down, like he feels calm, and he's just petting this dog just calmly, and he seems happy, you know. He doesn't seem like he's lost in his mental quirks. He seems normal for a moment. He's just petting this dog and having a decent time, and his assistant walks in to his house and sees this. If I remember it right, I'd have to watch the episode again. It was a really good episode. But his assistant walks in and sees him, and she's like, not gonna say a word. This is, it's kind of like how we were talking about with Penny hugging, or Sheldon hugging Penny. It's like, this is one of those moments where like, don't spoil it. Just let it happen.
Let's leave it.
I've never known anything about that show, but now it actually sounds like a show I want to watch.
You need to sit down and watch it. It's really good.
That's kind of cool.
You can find it. I'm pretty sure you can find it online. From what I heard, rumor had it is that they were going to do one more season. I think it was going to be like a short series or a movie on some streaming service. I got to find it because I've watched almost every episode. It's a very good series. Also, the theme song for it, sung by Randy Newman, which, you got a friend in me.
Yeah, Randy me.
But like the song, I'll play that song for you after we're done. It's so good.
All right.
It's a jungle out there. Disorder and confusion everywhere.
So, I was going to do these characters separate, but I guess I'll put them together because they're both very kind of similar-ish shows. Kind of.
Shut up.
I don't know if that picked up, but my dog is barking at us. I'm sorry, buddy.
Open the door.
We love you. Open the door. Open the door.
Oh, you closed the door up there?
I closed it.
I usually,
What
yeah,
door?
I usually keep it
the
open.
front door?
No, the stairs door.
Oh, it's been closed every other time we've done this.
Yeah, it's been.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is
Wake
the
up.
first time he's thrown
Wake
a
up.
fit.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. To the viewer, wake up. You've been in a coma for 5 years. Your family misses you. Wake up.
So, the two shows I'm going to talk about, Kenan and Kel and Drake and Josh.
God.
So, I mean, obviously they're both similar
Buddy
in a
comedy.
way, but they also have their own jokes and their own quirks and everything. But I think Kenan and Kel was like, the first one to really build that kind of humor and storyline to where Drake and Josh can come in and
I would say that
take that
there's-
over after a while.
I would say that even though there's a good similarity there, I'd say it's still drastically different because Kenan and Kel was focused mainly on Kenan and Kel having like that, we're homies and bros sort of relationship. But then like Drake and Josh took it a step further with adding the family dynamic. I maybe I haven't seen enough of Kenan and Kel to say that, but like.
It was almost in that vein of the father hates Kel, but then slowly starts to adore, because Kel's a dummy.
Well, yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, so it's one of those kind of things.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger.
That's
Time to
Ed.
take your order.
That's Ed, but yes.
I like orange soda.
I was just going to say that too.
Is it true?
I do. Ooh.
Fun fact, in one episode he drank enough that his whole inside of his body was turning orange. Even his bones.
Oh,
Incredible.
gosh.
They saw it on the x-ray and like here down from like right shoulder to left hip and everything in between was orange. It was like he were
Incredible.
radioactive
Wow.
because he drank so much orange soda.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying though, because like it's really interesting that that dynamic can be so similar at times and so drastically different as well.
Yeah. And both shows had quirky jokes. Both shows had stupid jokes in it. And
Megan,
I was just gonna say that too, Megan, or the one time where
you ate my enchilada.
spherical. No, I enjoyed both of those.
I like
shows.
the ninja ping pong.
Yeah. Or the
I'm
one
not
where
mad at
they're
you. I'm just done with you.
or they're making that treehouse.
Drake.
Where's the door?
Drake, go get the saw. Oh, okay.
It's outside.
Oh, I see the problem.
And
Oh, do you?
My birthday's ruined because you ran over Oprah. No,
it's
because it's a
literally
little.
human.
Of course, it's because I ran over Oprah.
We just totally spiked there. I see that on the screen. But that was
Cock-a-doodle doo. The cow says moo.
Nothing I can't edit.
You scheduled Crazy Steve on a Monday?
Nothing you can't edit.
Monday's his
like
bad
you
day.
Act like not every fart stays in.
So speaking of Crazy Steve,
Are we going to talk about the theory?
What theory? Oh, we talked about this one episode.
Yeah.
no, I wasn't going to talk about the theory. I was going to talk about the actor himself.
Oh, we talked about him too.
Jerry Trainer is a phenomenal human being.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I want to bring.
There you go. There's another.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah.
But I wanted to bring him up because he was actually the next one I was going to mention.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
yeah.
we've mentioned this on the show already, but he not only was a pretty decent actor, acted like a crazy person and a big brother, but
Was there for them off stage. As
yeah,
well.
he was there for the kids off stage to defend them from the
Dan Schneider's
from-
creepy
from the
From
bullshit that happened
big
backstage.
From Dan,
looking-
show me your toes, Schneider.
looking
Seriously,
freakazoid.
Freakazoid, runs
And-
around in underwear.
who knows how those kids would have been treated if he wasn't defending
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Whole lot worse.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I feel like you think the book I'm currently reading is bad
Why is Hollywood fucked?
because they're people with power that they can do whatever they want.
yeah, exactly.
And in all respect to them, the preteens and the kids are the easy ones to exploit. That's why a lot of them don't necessarily hire grown actors like Jerry Trainer.
Now, I know we're talking mainly about movies and stuff. Like I've done this already once tonight. We were talking about like exploiting actors and stuff. So everybody hated this guy for the longest time, but Justin Bieber. I don't know if you guys ever heard about everything that came out with him, but basically,
I know
he
half
was.
his face is gone numb.
Wait, what?
He has a disease where half his face goes numb.
Wait, what?
It's not Bell's palsy, but like half his face just goes numb.
Interesting.
He has no feeling on one side of his face.
Didn't know about
Really?
that.
Completely.
Yikes!
Holy shit!
But like for the longest
Hence
time,
why he's not doing a whole lot of concerts and stuff now.
yeah, everybody thought for the longest time like, oh, it's just this kid, this up and prissy kid or whatever, and nobody liked him. But then come to
Prissy
find
was a
out,
jerk off.
years later that he was like severely exploited and abused, and a lot of this shit was hidden for years.
I wouldn't doubt that though, because there's a lot of child stars like that. Miley Cyrus,
Yeah.
when she was Hannah Montana, guarantee her father kept her doing that crap because she was making money.
Yeah.
And not to get off track of that, but when she started, I think she did, kind of going crazy, grinding on guys in public.
Yeah.
I think there was kind of a cry for help, really, because
Sometimes
just what it
all
seemed
you-
like to me.
Sometimes all you can do is act out when you're stuck to such a.
Yeah, and she, got to the point where like, I'm an adult now. I'm going to act like an adult
Yeah.
because she had to stay in that child-friendly state of mind for so long.
You know what another good
No,
example
you know
of
the
that
big
is?
problem with that with her was? She's under the Disney umbrella.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what another
That
really
was the problem.
another really good example of that, and I know we're going way off topic at this point.
Worth
but
it.
We're talking about like the aspect of people who were exploited or dealt with that whole like being locked under like entertainment as a kid and stuff. Michael Jackson. You really think about
True.
it. The guy never truly had a childhood. Like even
because he was immediately in the
even younger than like Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Like he was brought into show business. What like
He was young. I don't remember how old
younger
he
than
was,
10?
but He probably was.
Probably.
Easily.
Well, we could keep talking about it. I'll look it up because I'm curious.
No,
And
that's
then
true though.
But like, think about it. Like everybody turned on him and was like, "Oh, he's a child toucher." Like, just because he's doing weird things, you know, you got to think of what that does to you mentally. Like, you never actually grew up and experienced a real childhood. What's that going to do to you as an adult?
Yeah.
You have that aspect of you know, now that I can do whatever I want to live out my childhood.
Yeah.
So he did a lot of weird things.
He made Neverland.
Yeah.
And
the monkey Bubbles.
yeah, and
True.
I wouldn't exactly invite
Jesus.
like
How old was he? Exactly.
Michael began performing at the age of 5.
Holy balls.
That makes it
When the Jackson 5 was assembled.
Wow.
He started at 5 years old.
So can you imagine that from 5 years old up? Never
was-
had an actual childhood.
He was appearing on TV by age 11, and by age 14, he had his first solo album.
Wow.
So, like, really think about that. Like, we're talking about, like, all these child actors and stuff, but think about that. Like, what does that do to you? Like,
and you have the fame your entire life until you're dead,
Exactly.
and you're still in
and even
dare I say infamy, but not in a bad way, but
I-
also to some degree in a
I
bad way,
think-
depending on how you look
I
at it.
think for the longest time now, after when his death happened, a lot of people were like, wow, there's a lot of fucked up things he did. But, like, the more and more things that came out about how weird his death was and, like, all the shit that was going on behind the scenes, a lot of people realized that, like, he was not as bad as people were saying. He never really did anything. You know, yeah, there was some weird, suspicious sounding shit, but he never actually did any, well, other than hanging his child off of a balcony in his arms for a minute.
Speaking of his kids, they're not getting any of his money through as well now.
Wait, what?
It's all apparently it never went to them to begin with.
Huh.
It's now going to the grandmother, but that's withheld from her because for some reason, almost 20 years after his death, they're doing his taxes.
Weird.
Wow.
Yep.
A lot of weird shit in the world. But, like, you know, it's crazy to think about that. Like, think about what were you doing at 5 years old?
Playing Legos and watching Blue's Clues, probably.
What were you doing?
Blue's Clues, Little Bear.
It's probably what I was watching. Franklin, Blue's Clues, Little
Watching
Bear,
Face from Nick Jr.
Bear in the Big Blue House,
I did not watch that show.
Roly Poly Oly.
So long, farewell.
You know, I never watched Roly Poly Oly. The only thing I remember from is the freaking the song.
Howdy.
You
Yeah.
know, what's the
So
Hooray.
Roly Poly, he's small and smart and proud. And in the
what's
land
the
of
other
rose-
children's show? And I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was just like a bunch of random tents and crap fused together. But it's like when you entered it, it was like a TARDIS situation. Like it was like a small shitty thing on the outside, but you go inside, it was like this big tent and stuff. I can't remember
Do
what
they
it's
have
called.
an animal by any chance?
No, I don't think so. It was just like a
What
variety.
was the question?
It was like a children's show where it was like a TARDIS situation. It was like a small tent or something, and they would crawl in through like a play place tunnel. And instead of it being like a super small tent, it was like really big on the inside.
Did one of the guys have dreadlocks?
I think so. Yeah,
Was the girl Asian?
I think so.
That was out of the box. Out of the box. Out of the box.
Oh my god, it was out of the box. Holy shit. Oh
Here's
no, my brain. I just awoken my childhood
Here's
memories.
a really,
Shit.
really, really obscure one. You might not remember this, but this is back when TLC had actual cartoons like
Oh my god.
like JJ the Jet Plane.
Jade, oh, don't
But
remind
there
me
was
of that
one-
monstrosity.
It was
It was awful.
there was a big blue cat. It's people in like stinking puppet mascot costumes, mind you.
Yeah.
There's a cat called CC Copycat. There's Ella the elephant. It's called Skinamarink.
Skid mark?
Skinamarink.
Oh, I thought it was skid mark, like the one I make in my pants. Like what?
and nobody want to watch that.
I watched JJ the Jet Plane back in the day.
Dear God. I love how we went off on such a tangent. I mean, honestly, we're still sticking to TV shows and stuff, but like, we've been making weird tangents all night.
You're right, but that's what we do on Maximum
Welcome to the
Outreach.
Maximum Methods Podcast. We kind of sort of stay on topic.
Ad read?
No.
Damn it.
Medicaid.
Wait for it. We talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again. TV show characters that you don't think about it till afterwards has probably the greatest character development of that whole show.
Hit me.
Raven from Teen Titans.
You're right.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep. Like Robin, you know Robin. Beast Boy, they did an episode. Starfire, she had a couple.
Yeah.
Cyborg, he had a couple.
Not gonna lie,
Raven had arguably the greatest arc in that entire show.
that and it was like the whole last season was like her arc.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember
they
the
focused on
episode.
Beast Boy for a little
I
bit.
remember the episode. I think it was an earlier season where like I can't remember what happened to her, but all of her emotions split up into different Ravens, and they had to like put it back.
That
together.
was when Beast Boy and Cyborg went into a room and ended up going into her own mind.
Yeah. That was pathetic.
Don't make me spray again. You go in that corner and you think about what you just didn't do.
If you spray that,
Think about what you did.
I'm going to put you under that garage door and slam it on you.
I'll be all right. I'm already broken.
He's built different. I farted like 7 times, and you're gonna punish him for a single burp.
Yeah. Spray his ass.
I haven't. Well, I've heard the other one's busy giving with him. He's been doing it all night.
You could do the thug sprayer, right? Spray that ass.
So,
Yeah.
Ew.
I got a movie character.
Hit me.
So, I don't know if you've seen any of the movies or not,
Black
but
Dead,
Rocky from the Rocky
Oh yeah,
series.
Rocky,
I mean, how can you not love a character like that?
the
where-
underdog.
Exactly.
Just-
the underdog, no matter how much he gets beaten down, he gets right back up. Keeps on going. But it's really a thing for life, too,
Well, yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
You just keep going and going, and when it knocks you down, you get right back up.
It's the factor of the indomitable human spirit. Like, at the end of the day, you could just be like, man, I just don't want to live anymore. But at the same time, it's just like, fuck it, we ball, you know? The look on your face,
But-
like, I get it, but I don't.
Here's the thing, though. Sylvester Stallone, he wrote that whole script
Yeah.
and did it himself. Brought it to the company to make it a movie. And they said, I have to be the main character. And I guess originally they weren't going to do it. They just rejected it. But I was like, no, I don't know exactly why they wanted to like do it after a while.
Yeah.
But once they saw how popular the movie was, like, oh crap, this is an actual moneymaker.
Hold up.
And I love those kind of movies that
Do we want to go on the tangent with Black Adam? Since you brought up the directors and I have to be the main character kind of nonsense.
might as well.
So Black Adam. Think Shazam. Like, he's got powers. He's cool. He's got powers of the gods. Whatever. But he's not that cool. It ended up being a movie because The Rock wanted to be in it. The Rock wanted to do
yeah, I
it because he
remember.
wanted a prominent colored superhero.
Yeah.
Respectable. I get it. He brings in people like Dr. Fate. I can't remember the other three. Dr. Fate was in, and then Hawkman, I think. And people who have never seen the silver screen because they've only been in comics and or TV shows, cartoons.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, a.k.a. James Bond 007, played Dr. Fate. Phenomenal characters. The problem was DC didn't really want to do it. Just like I didn't want to do that.
I wasn't even trying. It just happened.
But
Sorry.
fine.
You're the one who paused.
Yeah, because I heard it. The Rock just goes, fine, I'll front the whole thing. They're like, all right, we'll do it then. Did the movie. It's all right. But the problem is The Rock wanted almost total control of the DC universe at that point.
Damn.
Because there's an end credit scene. Black Adam or Teth Adam is talking to Waller from the Suicide Squad, the one who runs the Suicide Squad. And she's like, well, we sent somebody out to talk to you, this, that, and the other, because he's not in the States. He's like wherever, I think it's Egypt or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's highly instigating a showdown because Black Adam's not exactly a good guy. He played good. He's almost like Batman on the other degree.
Okay.
Right.
He's like, yeah, he did the good thing, but you automatically know he's trigger happy. Like, you're walking a fine line with Adam. So they sent Superman. And this is the first time since we all knew he was going to be leaving because he was doing Geralt from The Witcher that Henry Cavill's played Superman.
Yeah.
And they were hinting at a showdown from it, and everybody's like, hold on. Wait a minute. Because anybody who's really a DC fan or a superhero fan would do the research with the comics and all that before, like, would I enjoy this movie? Don't fall over. And it's the thing is, yes, Black Adam is powerful. Yes, Shazam is powerful. They are not on the level of Superman to where they're considered a threat to Superman.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was teasing a showdown with Superman, that just ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Superman will plunge you to the moon and you're dead. Period.
You're right.
I don't care.
I just find it funny.
And then the whole thing, just the DC universe just tanked everything. Because then they did Batman after that. Wasn't that rose? We just talked about it. And now the DC universe is kind of up in there. They haven't made a movie since Batman. They got a whole bunch of things planned, but like, oh, they did the Lois and Clark TV series, whatever. But they haven't done the movies because everybody's getting recast. Everybody's doing this. They're like rehashing the DC universe with a younger audience. Problem is, Henry Cavill left being The Witcher to come back to play Superman, despite the fact he loved The Witcher.
Well, he left The Witcher because they basically wanted him out because he was trying to, which understandably,
As he should. The man
wanted
did
the
his
show run
research.
more. Yeah, he was literally Geralt. Like, well, that's the other thing. He loved The Witcher.
That's why Game of Thrones tanked.
Yeah.
Because the last two seasons, they did not have George R.R. Martin in their ear.
Yeah.
They're like, screw you, we got this ending. And the ending was garbage from what I heard.
That's why, like, even though I'm not a 40K
The man
fan,
wrote the books. The man knows the stinking story.
yeah,
It's his story.
even though I'm not like a Warhammer 40K fan, Henry Cavill is going to be doing a 40K show, and he's a gigantic 40K nerd. So I'm hoping, like, for the people that love 40K, that, you know, Henry Cavill puts his foot down on this one and doesn't allow any stupid stuff like with The Witcher.
This man derailed an entire interview of a group thing because he found out one of the cast members in that interview played 40K. It was amazingly fun. For like
really
10
funny.
minutes, he just dissolved that whole interview.
That's awesome.
This man built his own PC live on a live stream and made another one. He almost missed the interview to be Superman because he was playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, dude, he's like the nerd's person. Like,
Awesome.
what are we at?
Hour and 30.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't feel like it's been an hour and a half. I was gonna say shorter, but
I was going to say shorter too, but
All right, one last one. Let me make it a good one. Let me make it good.
Phillips notebook.
Yeah, I'll do this. Well, I'll make it an actual human who's played phenomenal characters for movies, and then I'll do one TV because it encompasses a whole bit. We'll do the movie one first. Robin Williams.
you're
Period.
right. No, you're right.
Be it the doctor from Flubber,
God, I haven't seen Flubber in
be
years.
it Genie, be it Mrs. Doubtfire. Phenomenal movie.
Help us on the
movie.
way, dear.
I love that movie. I got a story for you when we get through the
Now
rest
I
of
want
this.
to cry.
Be it Teddy from Night at the Museum, Teddy
Yeah.
Roosevelt. He played. There was one. He was the angriest man in Brooklyn. It was a movie. He was in it. He would. Robin Williams being angry, I don't see working. He made it work because he also made it hilarious. Man's a legend.
Man literally
You're right.
was a spectrum of an actor. He could do anything. You usually think of him as a funny guy, but he had plenty of serious roles that were just like, wow, he really can be like a somber, you know, and also really heartfelt, man.
Man, that ending monologue at Mrs. Doubtfire Both of them, him in court and in the background as Mrs. Doubtfire, still hurts.
Yeah.
I miss Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I think the world misses Robin Williams.
I think we needed Robin Williams.
Literally broke when I found out. And then I found out why, and I broke again.
Yeah.
I found out why, and I found out how.
And that's such a scary thought that the people who...
Some of the funniest people, you don't know what they're going on behind their own closed doors.
Well,
Exactly.
Because they
thing.
have the career of being
That's the
funny.
thing. You know, and I'll say this because we talked about this, and I know that we were specifically going to talk about doing a more like down to earth, you know, mental health or something podcast. You know,
That's coming, folks.
Yeah,
That's
eventually.
coming.
I'll admit just a little snippet here that, like, I deal with a lot of depression. I deal with a lot of stuff, and a lot of the coping mechanism for that is to simply be funny. And the big thought behind that is you know, if I can bring joy to others, you know, maybe I get a little bit of that residual joy. You know, if I could see someone smile and laugh because of something I did or said, you know, I could feel happy because I brought, you know, someone else doesn't have to feel what I feel in that moment. And because I was able to do that,
Right.
you know.
And this isn't really not really from a dark place, because I think I'm better now compared to what I was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But the same thing with like playing music.
Music and
Because
stuff.
actually, I mentioned to him, I didn't mention to you, I had a gig today. My band and my cousin, we played down at Harley Davidson today.
Yeah.
And whenever you can see smiles on people's faces, or somebody's foot tapping, or somebody singing along, you know, it may have just been one person or two people, but you made their day because they're singing along with you.
Yeah.
And that's such a great feeling, knowing
Exactly.
that, you know, you made their day. It's like, oh, I haven't heard that song in years, and that kind of thing. So it kind of goes along that same lines.
Also, music in general is just a really good way to express yourself. Like, even if you're not singing something yourself, you could pull up a song and be like, you know, instead of telling somebody through your own words, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling today, would you listen to this and, you know, get a gist of how I'm feeling today, because I really just don't feel like talking.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many songs out there that give you a range and spectrum of emotions.
And actually, that's what I try to do when I make set lists. So in my band, my friend calls people, gets numbers, sends out business cards, you know, to get her name out there. Me, I make the set list, arrange the songs, and usually when I do set lists, do like happy songs, slow songs, fast songs. You know, because if you have like 5 slow songs in a row, you're going to put them to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you change it up, one song's a slow song, then a fast song, then a kind of a slower, maybe faster tune, then another fast tune, the slow song. You know, you can really have a different range of emotions
Exactly.
through all those different songs. But
yeah,
sorry.
No, you're fine. It's a really good one to end off on, because, like, you know, Robin Williams was that kind of person, and God, I'm like tearing up. I feel it.
You want a funny story then?
Huh?
So when he was filming Mrs. Doubtfire, they were within walking distance of a adult novelty shop,
Oh no.
and Robin Williams, I just saw that. This man almost just went backwards.
Oh, you did one of those, like, leaned back slightly and then,
Yep.
oh shit.
Yep.
That's funny.
But in full Mrs. Doubtfire attire, walks into this shop, looks around for a good 20 minutes,
oh dearie me.
grabs a big old black one,
Oh no.
sets it on the counter, and then the voice goes, "Do you have anything larger?"
Dude.
I heard that story. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh my gosh. I'd
And
be dying.
He's just a legend.
4 words that are technically 3. Robin Williams stand up.
Yeah, I've seen some Robin Williams
I
stand
have-
up. Holy shit.
I have a DVD collection of 5 of them, including the one on Broadway.
Yeah, well, that's something we should do. watch that sometime.
Yep.
Stand up would be a really fun episode too. Talk about stand up comedians.
Yeah.
I got like 7. Though most of them are in a group. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Mine are just the most generic stand up comedians you'd ever think of.
I got more than that actually. Now I'm thinking about it.
So, are you done with your list?
I got the movie when there's one more TV one. I'm ashamed we haven't done this yet.
Right. Go ahead.
The entirety of Avatar.
Yeah.
Like, you could think Aang because great character. But arguably the one of the biggest growth, I think, was Zuko's sister. Because whoever she was, I don't remember.
Azula.
Yeah. Arguably gets her. She's 16. And she's going through all that.
You're right. There's a lot of characters in that show that went through a lot of different arcs, too.
I love that show.
My cabbages.
Yeah, that poor guy. Well, since yours ended on...
The great meme / picture is he's got the thing of cabbages, but it's a Pokemon one, and one of them is just a shiny Bulbasaur. Cutest thing I've ever seen.
Funny.
Anyways.
Since you ended on a cartoon, I guess I will, too. So, this will be 2 characters in the show. And I've already mentioned this show. Ed, and Eddie.
Yep. I figured.
And 2 characters I want to point out specifically are Ed and Rolf.
Okay.
Because Ed, he's such an interesting character. He's an idiot, but he also has this inhuman strength that he can chew up a slide and throw a playground in the air.
Because of pebbles in his shoe.
Yeah, because of pebbles in his shoe. And again, we've mentioned he's always getting blamed for all of his sister's crap, so he goes through a lot of stuff. So it's just, I can't think of any other character that's like that, who's stupid, silly, and insane most of the time, and has all this inhuman strength, and just all the stuff bottled up into one character.
The funny thing about Ed, too, is that he gets those rare moments where he goes to say something stupid, but it ends up just being pure genius at the same time.
Yeah.
He just has that. It's like an idiot savant, where, like, he's borderline stupid at everything except for, like, 1 or 2 things. And at those 2 things, he just excels exceedingly.
Mm-hmm.
The night of the moment.
Like farming, for example, when he was helping Ralph.
Yeah.
Eddie and Double D. Well, Double D was, still doing good, but, Ed got to a point where Ralph trusted him to have workers below him and him bossing them around because he trusted Ed enough that he apparently did a good enough job.
Well, it's a mixture of him. I think Ed's just simple enough that, like, you point him at a task and
he's on it.
And he's just on it. Like, if Rolf was just, I can't remember the episode off the top of my head, but he's like, move that hay bale. You bet your ass Ed would walk over it, grab it with one hand, and throw it halfway across the state.
Mm-hmm.
Because, cartoon physics.
And he did.
Yep. But, like, same goes for Rolf. Rolf has really insane strength, and people look at him, and then you at first probably think, oh, look at him, farm boy, he's got to be dumb as shit, but no,
Rolf was the next character I was going to mention, too.
Rolf is very intelligent.
He's that really crazy character that you have no idea where he's from.
Come back, you stale end piece of white bread.
Yeah. Your gardener's overgrown and your cucumbers are soft.
Well, What is that? They had the discipline. Are you stupid?
Yeah. He was just this crazy character. You don't know where he's from. He says all this crazy stuff, but he's a great farmer. Let's be honest. Most farmers have that kind of strength. Yeah. Like, you don't fuck with farmers.
No, you don't.
So, I'm going to go off on a little side story here. I did wrestling very briefly in high school.
Yeah.
Now, we all had to qualify to see who was going to be part of a tournament. I had to wrestle a farmer. I lasted 8 seconds.
Jesus.
And this guy is big. Like, I don't think he was much taller than I was, but he was just big and bulky. Like, it's the kind of thing like he didn't have like big, like defined muscles. He was just big.
Yeah.
And I talked to him afterwards. Just like, dude, you kicked my ass. He's like, end it as quickly as possible. Just hook it in, hook the leg, and end it as quickly as possible. Just don't lollygag. Don't. And I think most farmers think that way. Just get it done. Just and just like with Rolf going back into Rolf, just get the job done. And it's a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Out of all these live real characters we've talked about, we're talking about a simple cartoon character.
Yeah.
And he has all these things meshed into one character.
But
I got one more, and I'm ashamed we haven't. I'm not ashamed because this should arguably be the last one for this list. Memorable characters. You can't have this list without mentioning any one of the Looney Tunes.
oh yeah, really.
If not all of them.
True.
Bugs and Daffy are one thing. But you got like Foghorn Leghorn, Tweety, Sylvester,
I say,
Porky
boy.
Pig.
I'll say, boy.
You're pissing too loud, boy. You're pissing in the center and waking everybody up at 3 a.m. You gotta piss on the side, boy.
Say Goku. Now say. Yeah, you gotta get up.
I say, boy, you gotta piss on the side, making a stealth mission, boy.
I tell you, this boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball.
Those are another series of characters that they all had insane personalities, but there's also a lot of good qualities between those characters, like good heartfelt moments and things like that. And I mean, Looney Tunes is just the golden age of cartoons, that generation.
Yeah.
It's insane that they hand drew every single frame and emotion in their face.
Hand-drawn animation is still fucking crazy, dude. Like, you see, there's still hand-drawn animation done today, and, like, it's just gotten better over the years. Obviously, there's a lot more, tools and stuff to work with that you can make better-looking animation than back in the day, but, God, hand-drawn style, I fuck with that aesthetic.
Yeah.
I have a story, a real-life story that pertains to Looney Tunes.
Tell it.
All right.
I don't know if you know. I don't even think I told you this before.
All right.
So there's a friend of ours at work. You know who I'm talking about.
I don't.
He's coming with us to October. He's not good with names. I'll give him this one. But he couldn't remember who played Rocky. Like Balboa. I'm like, all right, let me help you, because again, not good with names. Maybe this will trigger it. The cat from Looney Tunes. The first thing he says is the cat who chased the skunk. I'm like, well, first of all, it's the other way around, and second of all, the skunk's name is Pepe the Pew. And we finally said Sylvester. He got it, Sylvester Stallone. But there's another one. I'm just like quizzing on like random cartoon terms to see what he knows and what he doesn't know. I'm like, all right, who said yabba dabba doo?
Oh no.
Boy, 19 years old, turning to be 20.
Oh boy.
He goes, yabba dabba doo. Hey boo boo. Let me take a look at this picnic basket. His boy, he knew. To be fair, he did know.
Get that picnic basket.
His boy starts quoting Yogi Bear.
Oh my god.
He knew the answer was right, but he did. He goes on record and says, he's like, I was a dude for something. Like, no, you were just flat out dumb.
I love it. That's
I was about to throw something at you. I literally called him by his first name and went, that is Fred Flintstone. You get that bear out of here. No disrespect to Yogi. You get that bear out of here. That was a caveman.
Give me your picnic basket.
So I know John Goodman played the perfect live-action Fred Flintstone.
And we circle back to John Goodman.
And
great
and
episode.
Rick Moranis played a great Barney Rubble.
I got 2 more people, and they go to one show. I actually almost completely forgot about them.
All right, we'll end it here on that one. That too.
Yes. Have you guys ever seen King of the Hill? Or not King of the Hill, King of Queens?
No.
I've seen bits and pieces.
I won't lie. I think I've seen bits and pieces.
So the whole point, Doug and Carrie, the main characters, they're a very dysfunctional marriage because a lot of times they'll lie to each other or they'll do things behind their back, and they argue with each other. But usually the arguments have stupid, funny stuff in them that make you laugh.
Yeah.
There's like a couple scenes where she'll pinch Doug's nipples, and he's like, "There's just scar tissue there now," and well, there's all these things that happen to them, but they still come together as husband and wife, say sorry to each other, and move on. And there's a lot of couples nowadays that don't move on with stuff like that and hold grudges in their marriages, and eventually down the line it just implodes.
Yeah.
But obviously it's just a show, but still they can show that even through the hardest times they can still come together like, okay, we were out of line, I'm sorry, you're sorry, we didn't mean it, and they just apologize. And that old saying, don't go to sleep angry.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it's an entertaining show. They do these one-liners that are freaking hilarious, and they find themselves in like really kind of awkward situations that makes it funny because of just how they act. And it's a really good show. It's one of those shows that my family and I watch all the time. But Medicaid, so that was your last one then?
I got more I can put on here, but we'll be dragging a little bit.
We'd be going for hours probably.
Yep, I got a couple more that I started on my list I didn't bring up, but we'll be going a little while.
You want to just
rapid fire?
Yeah, do rapid fire.
Yeah,
because I'm done with my list.
Yeah,
I didn't make one.
And you said you were gonna.
I forgot halfway
Still
through.
a piece of
I'll
work.
go.
I love how I asked you last night, like, what were we doing again? This? Oh, yeah. It was a rough week, homie. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll start with my movie list. Knuckles from the Sonic movie.
You're right.
Phenomenal character.
Yep.
Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Arguably breakout character of that whole movie.
Right.
Yeah, really?
We mentioned him before. Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
Best one from that Batman trilogy.
Where is she?
In any aspect, but arguably now this current verse, Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
They've tweaked him multiple times, but this current one is probably the best one. I only say this because I watched these movies recently. Caesar from the remade Planet of the Apes movies. Because that is the same dude who did the voice and all that for Smeagol from Lord of the Rings.
I gotta watch those.
This is only for movie aspect. Jack Black is Bowser.
Jack Black in general.
Yeah,
I
in
agree
general,
with that.
yes. We can make this argument all day long, but this one was the first and arguably the epitome of our Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, like him or not, really.
I mentioned this before. The MCU in its entirety at this moment, just because the characters, that is who they are now.
Yeah.
Again, we can make the argument for Spider-Man. Right now, everybody else. Iron Man, that's it.
With Cap being passed on, too.
Yeah.
It makes Cap canonically being passed on. It's not like the actor passed away and they're going, oh, we need a new Captain America. It's like, canonically in the story, Captain America is no longer Captain America.
And he's like, no, I'm good now.
Right.
I'm an old man.
But
Raisins.
sort of
pooped
tied
in
to
the
the
shield.
MCU, but he's not there yet.
Who?
Venom.
Oh.
You're
Great character.
Yeah, you're right.
If you grew up with these movies, you'll know, and a little bit of the TV show, Littlefoot, and just for terms of one of the best characters ever, Chomper the T-Rex. Chomper's great.
I
love
agree
him.
with Littlefoot. Love
And
those movies.
in terms of a villain, minus Joker, the one of the few Disney villains who actually accomplished what they wanted, Scar. He got what he wanted. He got the throne. He turned the Pride Lands into a wasteland, but he got the throne. Mama Coco from Coco, the old lady.
Never watched it.
That last bit, I watched this with you.
I gotta watch it.
I saw you break. I knew you broke because I did the same thing.
Yep.
Sounds like I gotta watch it.
That's
it
such
hurt
a good movie.
in the best way possible, but God, did it hurt. These two go together for movies, arguably for cartoons as well. Optimus Prime and Bumblebee.
True.
I only put this one on because it was the funny thing, and I had this conversation earlier. Thought I had a sneeze coming. The brother of the pharaoh from Night of the Museum, Kamun-Ra. The brother goes, I can't believe you just touched it. You do this again, I will kill you. Great character.
I don't think I've seen Night of the Museum.
I think it's number 2. They actually left the museum. And again, it ties into it. You had Teddy from Night of the Museum and Genie, played by Robin Williams.
Yep.
I put both down here for this because I'm not talking Johnny Depp. Wonka, the prequel, leading into Gene Wilder playing Wonka in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, ties in better than Johnny Depp's.
I never saw that was a prequel, the new one?
Yeah.
How was it?
It is awesome.
Okay.
I saved the entire soundtrack. Phenomenal songs, phenomenal movie.
It really is.
I'll have to watch it.
It was one of those kind of movies I was like, I don't know. When I watched it's like,
That's like,
damn.
as long as I'm like, it's on my list, I'm like, I don't know. And then we finally watched it here, actually. Phenomenal movie.
I have a feeling that one of these
Hugh
days
Grant
we
and
need to
Oompa
just have
Loompa.
Oh my god. We need to just have a movie night one of these nights.
Sure.
But phenomenal movie.
So,
And Mrs. Doubtfire, the Sanderson sisters, Anakin Skywalker. That's it for movies. Sanderson sisters are phenomenal.
I just thought of one more character when you were saying those. Coach Hines.
He's on my TV list.
Is he?
I just did movies. I mean,
Alright.
we can do my TV list rapid fire if you want.
Go ahead.
Number 1, Bass Reeves.
What?
Great character. Lawman Bass Reeves. The one with the first, Bass Reeves. You only saw one episode of this, but it hooked you. I don't know why you haven't finished it or started to show up again. Walter White from Breaking Bad. That is one of the greatest acting performances that I've ever seen in my life.
I have been seeing bits and pieces of it.
He went from the father to Malcolm in the Middle, being this goofy all around, to literally being the most feared drug dealer in Albuquerque.
Open the door.
Tommy Oliver, the good old Sixth Ranger, played by Jason David Frank, God rest his soul. I don't want to mention him. We mentioned him before. Joker and Batman, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
You don't have that Batman without that Joker. Period.
Or that Joker without that Batman.
Or in that aspect, that era of the DC animated universe in its entirety.
Yeah.
Justice League. You got Wonder Woman. That was the Wonder Woman. That was the Superman. Superman, the animated series. You can throw Batman Beyond in there.
Man.
That was it.
We've lost a lot of good actors and shit in the last, 10 years?
Yeah.
You're right.
Jesus.
Quick rapid fire. Goliath from Gargoyles, the leader of the Gargoyles.
Oh my god, that's an old show. I haven't seen that.
Do you know that's a Disney show?
Yeah, I know it's a Disney show.
I didn't know that.
But one of the more darker shows they did.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that was Disney until I saw it on Disney Plus.
This one's controversial, but he sure made an impact. Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh.
That
Dear God, dude.
sounded like water going down the drain. What was that?
I thought that was the plumbing. I thought the dog somehow flushed the toilet upstairs.
And then I noticed he's like sitting up on the chair a little bit. It's like, oh, you nasty.
I was like, why is he lifting himself up? And then I look over and I just heard the noise. I thought it was the chair creak. I look over and he's making fucking eye contact with me. And I'm like, why are you looking? Why are you looking dead into my eyes? And then I just hear the gurgling wrath of ass pouring out of his fucking butthole. Dear God. What the fuck, dude? Like, at least mine are, like, out there. It's like, it's Pride Month. Turn up. Be out there.
I'll let this be known. This man's suitcase let a 5-second fart rip upstairs.
Oh, shit. I think it was longer than
Front
that.
longer than that. Front longer. Anyways.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
A lot.
You're not wrong.
You're right.
So I don't know if y'all seen this show. I'm still doing rapid fire. 3 that stand in line was Captain Hook, the Evil Queen, and Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time. 3 great characters. The entirety of Gotham.
Gotham was really good.
Everything in that was canon.
Was Joker ever shown in Gotham?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I never got
Very
that
end.
far.
Batman actually showed up. He went away, came back. Still looks like a doofus, but came back. Technically killed Joker, but that ain't real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised we didn't mention this in the actual one. But in terms of just our childhood, SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Great character. And then he got stupid. In terms of that, with growing up, this was probably the first quote-unquote adult cartoon I watched. It was an anime. Goku.
You're right.
Yeah. That was the first one where mine is Batman, where I saw somebody get punched in the face, and that face caved in around that fist.
Yeah.
I'm like, I shouldn't be watching this, but this is kind of cool. And it also, in terms of our childhood with cartoon/anime, Ash Ketchum and Yugi Moto.
I love how we're breaking out the characters that we know and love at
Yep.
the very end. It's just like, shit.
And to wrap it up, because I mentioned the other 3, Coach Hines, who was also in Wonka.
Wait, what?
Have you seen the Mad TV with the gym coach? I will stab you in the neck with a pencil. Just amazing insults.
Oh,
Yes, those blue shorts are shoved all the way up
He's
here.
the head police officer in Wonka.
Oh, interesting.
Amazing.
You want to tell them a story about him getting those that payment?
So there's the 3. There's Slughorn and the other 2. Because he kind of first builds the shop in a little shopping center kind of thing. So you got Willy Wonka's here, and then you got the other 3. Y'all foul. And one of them is Slughorn, and they all get together because they know Wonka. They don't want any more competition.
Yeah.
So they're Wonka's a kid at this point. They're full-grown adults.
Yeah.
So they got the police chief in their pocket. So therefore, they got the police force in their pocket. As payment to attempt to run Wonka out of town, this is a musical number, mind you, but they cave and offer him 1,800 boxes of chocolate.
Damn.
And he's just eating it and eating it throughout the whole movie. Get bigger. A little bigger. A little bigger.
Like every scene you see him, and he gets slightly bigger each
That's
time.
funny.
He gets to the point where he can't get out of his police vehicle without a whole lot of struggle. And in the back seat and the front seat and the whole car is just empty chocolate boxes. Because he ate all of it.
That's funny as hell, actually.
I love that movie.
That is a
Also
great
watch it.
movie.
Great soundtrack. I gotta show you some of the songs. It's literally a musical, but it's good.
Huh.
Not even made by Disney. So Disney at that point can suck it.
You're right.
Be another good episode to talk about animation studios in general.
We just need I'm gonna be real. I just trashed Disney right there, but we just need a Disney podcast. This episode of just Disney.
You know, I think another good one too would be video game studios too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Folks, I always say this, but we keep coming out with new ideas and new ideas and more ideas.
It's constant, buddy.
I mean, if somebody ever finally leaves a comment, feel free to suggest shit too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sure that we can find anything.
I'll put the word out. Y'all can feel free.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna crucify
I've been
you.
posting on Facebook all the
You
time.
you got constructive criticism? You think we're suck? All right. That's your opinion. Okay.
You tell us we stink. Of course we do. We've been farting the entire podcast.
Exactly.
There's literally a green haze in this entire basement now. Come on now.
Yeah.
We're all right. You want to leave criticism? You want to say we're trash? You want to say we're cool? Cool. Door's open. Go on in, have a seat, put your feet up. Just don't put your feet up.
We've only got room for one more person
Listen.
on the couch.
Listen, don't put your feet up on the table. I've already done that. I've already stolen your colored pencils. Leave me alone.
I like to eat the crayons. They're pretty tasty.
Crayons are yours, man. Color pencils are mine.
The blue ones taste like blue. I don't normally get him.
My question, all serious question. What does orange taste like? Cricket.
Diabetes.
Tastes like yellow mixed with red.
Well played.
Or it just tastes like bad choices.
No, that's black. Because you know the black one tastes like black licorice. We all know that tastes bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My uncle loves black licorice, and he always says, "Oh, yeah, you grandpa made me black licorice." It's like, I'm sorry, that tastes like tar.
This just turned into a food podcast. That is a whole other episode. I ain't trying to.
That would be a great episode.
I ain't trying to sit here with a candy podcast for another 4 hours.
Episode is we somehow get some equipment upstairs.
We're not getting drunk,
and we do a full-on cooking podcast where it's just 3 idiots in a kitchen.
The kicker is
cooking.
You don't have video.
Yeah, it's the best
just
part.
Full audio.
You're just gonna hear pans clattering around and just like,
you son of a beep.
You just hear, what the fuck, Richard? Why are you cooking like that? I told you to simmer it, you fuck.
Suitcase, put the dog down. Put the dog. No, not there. Put the dog down.
And then you.
Where's the lamb sauce?
I was about to say that. Buddy is not for eating. Put him down.
This is raw.
Punch the raw salmon on the.
And then he's in the background. Now the elbow.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
hear
it's been
from
a long day.
Is that the people's elbow?
A full audio cooking podcast. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny as hell.
2 hours into it, and then it's like,
I made the beef taco.
like 2 hours in, it's like, so y'all want to came just order pizza?
You just hear like fire in the background.
And here we are. And then at the end of the podcast,
You just hear
literally
sirens in the background.
You just edited a picture of a Domino's pizza that we opened up. Here's our delicious food that we made for 2.5 hours.
No shame. It's just right there, Domino's pizza.
As a picture of us.
Wait, no. It's a pizza on like a pizza platter, like we made it. But then in the background of the picture, you see like 3 Domino's pizza boxes.
I can see that.
And then in the window, because somehow you got to put the window in there, you got fire trucks in the background leaving.
You could edit it, yeah. Oh, dear
God. Oh, boy.
Bro, it's been a long day. This is what happens.
It's been a long freaking week. I've been waiting all week to do this. It's been a really rough week.
Me too, and I felt like it's been longer because then I'm like, I had 2 weeks, 2 days off. 2 weeks. I wish.
I wish I had
2 days off of work, and I was like, what day is it? I don't even remember planning anything for this podcast.
Yeah.
And then I look up my pocket. I'm like, oh, I have my list. I did do that.
Man.
And then yesterday was just a blur for me.
Oh,
I told you the story
came out of
earlier,
nowhere, so I'm
but
sorry.
yeah, it was a blur. And today was but we here. The tiredness
We're
is setting
here.
in.
Suitcase is disgusted by his own burps. I almost fell out of my chair.
Too much garlic.
Man, y'all should just be disgusted by yourselves in general.
Dude,
I mean,
you
'cause I
falling out of the
already am.
chair wasn't the peak part. It was you just blasting ass ham while making eye contact with me. I was scared for a second. I'm like, why are you looking at me like
This man
that?
just blows the sewage pipe out of his own body.
Portable sewage pipe.
That's what it sounded like. Sounds like you just drain it. You
One of these
just
days,
put a snake
I
down
think-
the sewage pipe and just go.
I think another really smart idea, and you guys could chastise me for this if you want. I
Oh,
think
get
a
ready
really
for it.
good idea for an episode is to just come down here, just start talking. No topic, no nothing, no plan. Come down here and just talk. Because I feel like I feel like it would be, and it could be something we do every once in a while. And whereas, like, you know, we talked about maybe doing a drinking podcast in the future, where the two of us have a few drinks, and you know.
One of us has to be slightly sober for this one, so I'm going to be the sober one.
But like, you know, that would be
Yeah, I
fun.
just
That would
don't
be
have
fun
a
just to be
anyway.
like, yeah, let's have a great time and just like be bros for a few hours. But like, let's
I'm
just have
having
a
a great time.
I
Don't care.
You keep
Donkey.
you keep talking Irish, and I'm sitting there in the corner.
Yeah. He's like draped over that. He's somehow draped over that, and it's not falling off the wall.
I feel Mace Boy.
He's literally just hanging up there by his clothes somehow. They haven't punctured. He's just hanging on it.
It's like at the end of the SpongeBob movie where SpongeBob's hanging from the ceiling. And he's got like the glittery hat and the cape on. He's just like, I'm up here.
He's got that outfit on. I'm a go for Gilbert.
Chris goes, I got him. Walks out in full like knee-high stilettos. Nobody sees it, but you just hear the you just hear click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
I don't know where my shoes are. I don't know why you got these shoes, but I ain't got my shoes
gosh.
on. But I really do think a podcast where we just don't have an idea of what we want to do and just come down here and just start bullshitting for 2.5 hours.
You could do that.
Or 2 hours or whatever the fuck we want to call it. What are we at now?
207.
Yippee!
Yay.
Of course, folks, if y'all enjoy the show, please comment, like, subscribe to the show.
Give me your money.
And if you made it to the end, thank you.
Yes, you're a true...
You're a champion.
You're a true mouther.
You're a true mouther. Shut the fuck up.
No, if you made it to the end, you are a maximum mouther.
Yes.
And we appreciate you. We got to work on that title, man.
Yeah, we'll figure
I
something.
don't know. Maximum Mouthage isn't a bad title. We just
Oh, no, I'm keeping the title, but
Yeah.
we'll just have to somehow figure out a good name for the fans. Like
That doesn't sound wrong.
the Mouthers.
What's up, all you mouthers?
Mouthers.
It almost sounds like a slur.
Yep.
Yeah, it does too. But yeah, we'll figure that out in the future.
Goodbye.
We'll see you later, folks.
Don't you ever do that again.